Hello and welcome to another episode of the Coin Toss. I'm your host for today, Brian Fonfera. It's usually Matt, as you know, but apparently all of the residential internet in his entire city went out yesterday and isn't fixed yet, and he has to go to work, so you're stuck with me. But you are joined by Faris Meer. Faris, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me.
Glad you can be here. Faris Meer writes for Titletown Sound Off. So Faris, go ahead and tell us about Titletown Sound Off and what you do there.
Sure. So I'm a writer for Titletown Standoff. I've been there for about a year. It's a great group of guys. They've got a great podcast going on over there that if you haven't listened to it before, it's worth checking out. Got some great material there. We usually put up a couple posts each week. So check us out, TitletownSoundoff.com.
All right. I think most people who are familiar with Back to the Future will be familiar with Titletown Sound Off. It's where I got my start. I was there about 3 years before branching off on my own. So, yeah, awesome site, awesome people. Go check it out. All right, what we are talking about today is Jordy Nelson. Missing this game after Leon Hall cracked 2 of his ribs with what should have been a penalty but was not called, but that's not the way we're going with this. We're talking about what our offense can do without him. So, are we doomed? Are we going to be just fine because the Cowboys' defense is not their strong suit? Let's find out. So, Ferris, I'm going to flip this coin. If it comes up heads, you're going to say that the offense will be just fine without Jordy. If it's tails, you're all doom and gloom.
All right, fair enough.
It is heads. We're going to be just fine.
All right.
All right. Do you have a minute? Go.
Okay, so obviously the way Aaron Rodgers is playing right now, it's pretty clear that it doesn't really matter who's on the field. Last week, Jordy went out early with the rib injury. Offense was sort of looking a little sluggish, and then all of a sudden he turned it on. Whether it was Cobb, Cook, Geronimo Allison, he was finding the open man, he was hitting his receivers, and he was making plays and putting up points. Should be more of the same this week. The one thing that's similar about Dallas's defense as compared to New York's is their weakness in defending tight ends. They're one of the worst teams in the league in defending the tight end. So I think Jared Cook will be a focal point of the offense, get Rodgers rolling early, and he'll spread the ball around, much like Favre used to do back in the day without a clear number 1 receiver. He'll be just fine.
All right. Solid. The reason I think we'll struggle without him has less to do with our actual offense than it does the defense. Give them credit where they're due. They did a pretty good job against the Giants. They did a good job against the Lions. You think back to a game like Seattle where they inexplicably just dominated that entire game. But you look at what happened to them against this offensive line of the Cowboys and Ezekiel Elliott way earlier in the season, and they just got absolutely destroyed. Elliott was able to do just whatever he wanted. So the Cowboys are going to most likely own time of possession no matter what the Packers do in this game. So all those, third down and shorts become extra important, and without Rodgers' favorite target for the last, 6 years, could be in some trouble. You have to convert all of those. You have to keep the ball as long as you can, and man, that's his go-to guy. And overall, against anybody else with less of a running game, less of a team that's going to dominate time of possession, I would feel a lot better about it. But we're going to have fewer opportunities, and we got to make the most out of them. So pressure is on, and I'm just not sure that without Jordy Nelson we can make it happen.
Yeah, I think you pretty much said everything that deep down I'm afraid of. Yeah. So, as much as I hope you're wrong, those are pretty much valid points for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is all about how many times we get the ball, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get a couple 3-and-outs to start this game, miraculously get that, and I don't think the loss of Jordy Nelson will really be an issue, but...
Yeah, I think the key is just once Rodgers gets rolling and he gets in the zone, it matters less. But in a tight game, like you said, if Dallas is dominating the time of possession, it's a key third down and he really needs to play, I think that's when Jordy's going to be missed the most. When the one guy on the field he knows is going to be where he needs him to be, and he can put the ball where he wants to put it, I think that's when we're going to feel that loss. So if it's a game where he's just rolling and just hitting guys left and right, you won't even notice Jordy isn't on the field. If it's going to be a tight game for 4 quarters, I think it could definitely be an issue.
Yeah.
When instead of having Jordy out there, he's got, he trusts Allison. still an undrafted rookie, still a guy who's never really been in these spots with Rodgers much before. So
yeah. All right, so let me ask you this: last year, with all the injuries that happened before the division round game against the Cardinals, it was Jeff Janis that stepped up. He had even before those 2 Hail Marys that he caught in the fourth quarter, he was having a pretty good game. He had already had a touchdown in that game. He stepped up. So who would you say is the guy that has to step up in Jordy's absence?
It's a good question. Last year it definitely was Allison. I mean, even Jared Abbrederis was a huge part of that game plan. But to be honest, I think it's going to have to be Allison. And the reason I say it's going to have to be Allison is because nobody on the Packers roster right now, Janis included, can replace Jordy. But I think the one area where Allison can help will be in the red zone on those scramble drills that Aaron Rodgers seems to love running near the goal line. It seems like Allison has pretty good instincts. He had one in Atlanta, and he had one 2 weeks ago against the Lions, where he kept moving, and eventually Rodgers found him. That's usually where Jordy's gotten a good amount of his touchdowns in the red zone too. So I think that's the one area where they might not miss a beat without Jordy, hopefully. So I think Allison is going to have to step up, make a play, maybe grab a touchdown in the red zone, do something. I mean, I think we know what we're going to get from a healthy Cobb. I think we know what we're going to get from a healthy Adams. Allison's going to be the other starter in 3 wide sets. I think he's going to have to be the one that steps up.
I'm going to go Jared Cook.
All right.
He's been such a big part of this offense since coming back from the injury. That's, his return from injury is when we really started to turn it on and, run the table. I don't know. You mentioned how the Cowboys struggle with covering tight ends. So if there was ever a game for him to get 125 yards and a touchdown or 2, this is it. And we need it big time. I really want to see us play Atlanta next week. I'd love to get another grudge match out.
I do too. I think that would be a show. Rodgers against Ryan in the Dome. We'll cross that bridge when we get there, hopefully. But yeah, I love that answer. I think Cook. I think it was clear against the Giants too how big of a part of the game plan he was, because two of the first throws went his way. I think it'll be something similar this week. Cook has been. He's transformed this offense, which is hard to believe, but when he's on the field, it's completely different.
Yeah. All right, how you feeling about this game? We gonna win it?
I feel good. I'm not even trying not to be like a blindly optimistic Packers fan. The way Rodgers is playing, I don't see why there isn't a reason to believe that they can win this game. It's going to be tough. Dallas has the edge in almost every other facet of the game, but the way we're playing, I feel good.
All right. I feel, I don't know, my Packers week usually starts with me feeling really confident on Monday and Tuesday, really down in the dumps on Wednesday and Thursday, and the rest of the week I'm just nervous. So right now I've definitely just got the jitters. So we have a chance though. Dak is a rookie making his first playoff start against the Green Bay Packers. The light really doesn't get much brighter than that. So
I mentioned to you before we launched the call, if you really break this game down, there aren't many logical reasons to think Green Bay can win between our defense, between Dallas's run game, et cetera, et cetera. But I mentioned to you, we've been in this position before. We've been enormous favorites in the playoffs, 1 seed, what have you, dominant in all facets. And then all of a sudden, we just get smacked by a team that's just on fire at the right time. And I think that's the position we're in now. Dallas is a great team. We're not going to win this game on some fluky play. But we've seen it go both ways. So I'll take our chances with A-Rod on the daily week.
Fair enough. I'm on the same boat.
Yeah.
All right, Faris, thanks for joining. That's all we have for today. All right.
Thank you for having me, Brian. I appreciate it.
All right, everybody, make sure you're subscribing to our channel, PTTF TV. Check out PackToTheFuture.com and TitletownSoundoff.com for all the information you need before and after every game. See ya.